Hi, everyone. My name is Christina Wazak, and for much of my career, I've had the honor of working with people who were students at colleges in the City University of New York. Many of those students were leaders on campus, and they graduated, and they went on to do other things, whether it be more education, starting their own businesses, families, so on and so forth. Now I'm excited to share these stories with you, except I'm not telling the stories. The students are telling the stories because the students have become the teachers. I'm excited to bring them to you as they share memories of their leadership experiences on campus, update us on what they've been doing since they graduated, and we will talk about leadership development as well. So let's get to it. So I'm here today with someone who I can't remember when we actually met, but I do remember my fondest memory of you, and I don't know if you remember this, Cyrille, but it was at the student leadership retreat for the City College of New York.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in a workshop. Neither of us were facilitating the workshop, but you were next to me and you were talking about why you were working on a certain project. And just do you remember this? It was a while ago, but the passion,
I remember we're at the retreat. I don't remember the conversation vividly. What did you say I was talking about? I was talking about why I'm working on
a specific
yeah,
project.
I believe you're I believe you're right. I believe you're right. Yes, I believe you're right.
And the thing is,
Yeah.
I don't remember what year that was. It had to have been maybe in the last like 5 years, maybe.
No, it was this was like 2018, 2019, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, between 2017 2018, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I remember just the genuine feelings, and like I got teary just from like you were just talking, and I felt what you were saying, and I appreciated you ever since. So I was like, hey, let's talk.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you could share, where did you go to college, and what degrees did you obtain?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I went to Westchester Community College for my associate degree in communication. Then I transferred to Lehman College, and that was like the beginning of a great journey. I did multimedia studies at Lehman College, and then when I got my bachelor's, I transferred to City College for my master's in film. So I have an MFA in film, in a documentary, and that's my journey. You know, it was an awesome journey. CUNY shaped that journey and gave you who you have in front of you today.
That's awesome. So when you were in school, did you get involved in any kind of student organizations? And if so, did you have any leadership roles?
Yes, ma'am. First of all, I like to take the story from the beginning. Moved to the United States 13 years ago. I was an undocumented immigrant, and in my undocumented journey, I found out that my American dream will come through education. You know, through educating myself. You know, going back to school and getting a degree, and finding my true calling and my passion. So when I became a resident, I took a GED. And then I went to Westchester Community College. In that journey, I'd already found out that I was very passionate about telling stories through visuals, you know, using cameras and everything. So I went to Westchester Community College. After my GED, I did 2 years over there, studied communication, fell in love with it even more. Then when I graduated from there, I transferred to Lehman College. At Lehman College, I knew I was passionate about filmmaking, but something happened at Lehman College. I went to the Student Life building, and I met with somebody that I always speak about. She doesn't like it because she's very humble, but I met Suzette, and meeting Suzette changed my whole life, right? Because she invited me to the leadership class, and she told me that I'll benefit if I come in the class, and I went, and that was it. It was the beginning of something. It was the beginning of the best rest of my life. I always say it that way because I learned about the 5 practices of exemplary leadership. I learned about everything leadership, you know. So, and that gave me a voice. It didn't only teach me that I was someone that could, you know, have a voice, but it taught me I could be a voice for the voiceless. That was it. That same semester I ran for, no, the first semester I helped the current SGA to collect signatures. I saw the way they were working. I didn't like some of the things they were doing. The next semester I ran for office. I was like, I can't do this. I have to bring change. You know, I created a slate called Students Serving Students. We had a great team members that I still keep, you know, the relationship up till today. And we ran for office. Trust me, most of us were unopposed because we campaigned so hard, you know, and we were ready to bring change, and we did. You know, we did. Class of 2015, I still feel very awesome when I go back on campus and people say, oh, you're Cyrille. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know them, but they know my story. They know what we did as a SGA president. It just feels good, you know. Same thing. Graduated from Lehman class of 2015, went to City College for my master's, and I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this student leadership thing anymore. I'm tired. I'm just going to focus on, you know, driving my Uber and doing my master's. And then I got to Lehman College. Nobody was running for office for the graduate SGA president. And one of the students called me, Zofi called me, Cyrille, where are you? I'm like, I'm home. He was like, come on campus. We need somebody to run. You can do it. I was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, you could do it. Come. I took the train. I was on campus. I wrote my name down. I started campaigning. Before I know, I won the election, you know. So I'm two-time SGA president at CUNY, you know, and the second year as a grad SGA president, I ran for office for University Student Senate as a graduate, you know, vice chair for graduate affairs. That right there was the best, you know, because now I didn't only advocate for my campus, but I advocated for all the graduate students on all all the campuses that had graduate studies. So it just took my whole leadership journey to a whole different level, you know, and it was great. It was great. I think that journey made me who I am today, because when I graduated from City College, class of 2018, that was my final year. So I was going out of CUNY as a vice chair for graduate student affairs. The executive director for the University Student Senate was leaving the job. He had another job, and I got a call. We need someone to run this organization, and you know it more than anybody that's here right now, because you've been in the organization for, I don't know, 4 years now. I was like, I've never been an executive director in my life. They're like, Cyrille, you could do it. We've seen your leadership skills. We've seen you inspire the students. You can do it. I went for the interview and I got a job. So today, for 2 years now, I'm the executive director for the University Student Senate.
Wow, that's some story.
That's my journey.
And you know, something that I heard you say was you didn't like what you were seeing. So at least, you know, with the student government at Lehman. So
I ran.
What did you do?
Challenge the process. You know, that's one of the exemplary model of leadership. Challenge the process. Don't sit down and complain. If you don't like it, what do you do for it? You know, what do you do about it? You know, so I didn't make any drama. I just told them, you know what? Next year I'm going to run. I don't like the way you're doing this. Oh, this is how it's done. I said, no, I don't think this is how it's done. I think the students deserve better. They could not do it. I said, okay, can I help you? They said, yeah, I'll take the pen and paper, and I'm going to get signatures, you know, for students to tell me what's not working on campus for them and everything. And then the next year I ran, and I was the SJ president for a year, and we did what we had to do. You know, we sat in those meetings, associations, tech fee, you know, advocated for everything that could give students the voice, everything that could give students a way to feel like they're students, right? That they're not just coming in and out. They had, you know, trust me, a lot of services changed. The way students were taken care of in those offices, everything changed because we invested ourselves time and energy to make it happen.
So it wasn't just the running, it was once you got in the position, there was time and there was effort that you had to put into
because
that.
And you're right, when you get into office, for students that really are running because they want to serve, because servant leadership is the best form of leadership. You know, the moment you get into office, then you start seeing that there's a lot, mostly for someone like me coming from Cameroon in Africa, where I truly didn't have a voice, right? and then I get to America, I'm like, wow, this is freedom. I could do this, and then I just got into the office. I wanted to change everything, and sometimes I had to hold myself back, like, no, so calm down. You can't do everything in 1 year. Do what you can, choose a couple of initiatives and run with it, and that's how we did. And we made it happen.
And I heard you say that servant leadership is the best leadership. So
yes,
yeah,
because when you're serving, when you're a leader, people think leadership is about you. Leadership is not about you. Leadership is about others, right? Because leadership is service. Leadership is compassion. Leadership is empathy. Leadership is everything that makes you be there for others. Everything that makes you say, you know what, how can I serve better? How can I make you better? People get it the wrong image of leadership. People think leadership is power. No, leadership is not power. Leadership is empowerment. Leadership is empowerment. Leadership is not about you. Leadership is sacrifice. Leadership is a very lonely place. So if you come into leadership because you think you're going to have a crew, you're in leadership for the wrong reason. If you come into leadership because you want to tell people what to do, you're not a leader, you're a boss. And people don't follow bosses, they follow leaders. So you have to be very mindful of what is your initial intent. I speak a lot about initial intent. If your intention is right, your end goal is going to be wrong. So you have to be intentional in everything you're doing. So if you tell yourself, okay, you know what, I'm going to run for office because I want to see my picture on the wall, wrong intent, wrong outcome. By the time you finish your term, people will forget about you. But if you come in because you want to serve, 3, 4, 5 years later, people will still remember who you are. People will want to know, and people want to invite you back and everything.
You sound like someone who should be speaking with students. Do you do that?
Yeah, I'm passionate about. I found a new passion in empowering people, because I was inspired. I was inspired by Suzette. I was inspired by Dean John Alloway. I was inspired by J.B. Milliken, the former chancellor. Those are people that were around me when I was a student leader that told me that it was possible. Jay Hutcherson, the founder of USS, Christopher Rosa, Vice Chancellor, that's awesome with students. All these are great names, right? That in our circle that see you and tell you, Cyrille, you have something, right? And you have to use it. Vice Chancellor Rosa always tell me, Cyrille, I don't know how you do it, but you're just awesome. Keep doing it. And they gave me the platform to do it, right? I get invited to speak at different campuses. Actually, you invited me to speak at Brooklyn College last year, before the pandemic. So people see what you're doing and they want you to come and help. So I work with students, I'm always inspiring people. I'm always, and guess what? I just added something to that. I did, I think a couple of years ago, I did a certification that I didn't really take seriously, but it was a life coach and motivational speech certification. Then the more my gift grew, and I was like, oh my God, now I can use this, So now I do a lot of live coaching sessions with both students and even a private client. And it's just awesome. I love it.
That's great. So I'm curious, when you were a student leader, did you have any challenges? And if so, how did you handle those?
Yes, I did.
What were the challenges and how did you handle them?
That's a powerful question, Christina. One of the challenges was, first of all, accepting that I was a leader, right? Waking up in the morning and say, Cyrille, you are the leader and you're going to make it happen. Because I was still building myself, right? I didn't see myself as a leader. So anytime somebody talked to me about how great I am, I was like, no, it's okay. I'm just serving. But it took me a while to understand that I was in a position of power and I had to use that position to empower people. I didn't have to run away from the title. I didn't have to run away from the Bible. So my challenge was accepting that fact that, you know what, Cyrille, you're in charge and you're going to help as much people as you can. The second challenge I had was I took challenging the process literally. I took it literally, and I was always challenging the process, always, and it rubbed some people the wrong way. And looking back today, I'm not apologetic, because guess what? I just applied what I learned, There's no reason for you to learn how to lead if you're not going to use that leadership skill. So I wasn't being disrespectful, but I was challenging the process. I was like, in meetings, and I love Vice President Ron Bergman. He's the Vice President of Technology at Lehman, because we sit in a meeting and I'll challenge him. And at the end of the meeting, he'll take me outside. He'll be like, Cyrille, I love you. Like, I love your passion. And he said, well, anytime you challenge me, I feel great, because I see that the students have a true advocate, that's not afraid of people and can't speak. So that built my confidence, right? That built my confidence. And Vice President Magdaleno to retired now. We sat in a meeting and we went at each other, and he came out. He was like, "Sir, I don't know what you eat, but you need to share." I said, you're so fiery and so passionate, and that gave me a sense of, okay, so you're doing the right thing, right? You're a true advocate. You're not holding back, because some students, they're fiery, but when they walk in that room, they lose what they have to say. The courage is gone, So for me, I was really, really privileged that I had the people around me that could nurture that courage. And then I had people that could tell me, it's good, you're doing great, keep doing it, But those were the two challenges. And how did I overcome those challenges? The first challenge was, the more I did it, the more I exercised my leadership, the more comfortable I became, And then the second challenge was the people surrounding me, telling me, Cyrille, okay, you know what, you could tone it down a little bit right now, but you know what, you could keep doing, and I created a balance, right? I created a perfect balance to know how to really challenge the process.
Thanks for sharing that. So on a different tone, what would you say has been your biggest accomplishment in your life so far?
Awesome question, Christina. Miles the movie. Miles the movie is my biggest accomplishment. 2019, I decided I had a master's degree in film. What do you do when you have a master's degree in film? You go and shoot a movie, right? So I was working on a project in 2018 in Ghana called Deafening Scream, and the film was about FGM, female genital mutilation. And then while we were filming, a young lady came on the set and she was talking, and I heard her story. She was a victim of a child marriage, that ran away from the village. So I just got the story. We wrote the script, and 2019, I went back to Ghana, $7,000, all my tax money. I went down there, hired a crew, did a casting. We filmed the movie. The movie's been out now since May. We did a Zoom screening with 70 people on a Zoom call. Was a great, because it was supposed to be a premiere in a hall, but because of COVID, it got canceled. So I did it on Zoom, and it's been an awesome journey. Miles was screening last weekend at the Flow Film Festival in Florida. Yeah, we have an official selection in Flow Film Festival in Florida. We have 2 wins in India at the Tagore Film Festival, Best Short Film, and the Next Gen Film Festival in India too, Best Short Film. So slowly but surely we're winning those awards. So for me, this is a part of having my children. This is like my greatest achievement, having that film out there, telling a story of advocacy, because the main character refused to get married. She's 15 years old. She categorically refused to get married to an old man because tradition demands, so we have to do a screening, Chris. You have to watch it. You'll love it. You'll love it.
I was actually thinking like, okay, we got to do this, because that, when I said at the beginning of this that you were sharing a story about why you were doing a film, like, this is the little bit of what you just said, you talked about it a little bit more, but that's what you were saying. And that's what got me, was like, you weren't creating a film because you were like, oh, I think this will be good for me, like that. That's not what it was. And I was just like, wow, like, congratulations. Because it's finished and it's doing well, and yeah, and that's awesome to hear. So you've had this journey, and the journey continues, but you have had all these experiences. So what would you say would be 3 tips that you have for people who are currently student
Oh,
leaders?
that's awesome. That's I hope that they get this, because the first thing first is find your calling. Find your calling. Most people, most student leaders are passionate about it, but they don't know what their calling is. Anything you're doing through calling is different from something you're just doing because you want to do it. Because when you're following your calling, you put your all in it. So make sure that you know what your true calling is. Second thing, challenge the process. Challenge the process. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, this is how it's done. No. Create your own way. Make it happen. And third tip, just do it. Don't wait to be perfect before you do it. Don't if you're writing a book, don't wait to have the perfect manuscript. No. Don't wait to have a big budget to edit the movie. No. Do your Amazon editing, Amazon publishing, self-publishing by yourself. Just do it. When you feel you have that gift and talent inside of you, don't wait for it. Just do it. So when you find your calling is going to drive you towards your purpose. Most people study, go to college, graduate, and are not happy, are miserable. You know why? Because they're in the wrong calling. They do something to please their parents, to please their uncle or something, but it's not their calling. So they become miserable after that. So when you find your calling early, it helps you to choose the right path. And when you choose the right path in your leadership journey, don't settle, challenge the process. Always be that person that asks questions during the meetings. Always point of correction, point of information. That's why we have the Robert Rules of Orders, right? You use all those points of everything that you can use to get what you want to get. And then guess what? Just do it. Just do it. Don't wait for anyone to tell you. Just do it. If the street is dirty in your block and you feel like nobody's doing it, go and clean it. Do something. Call out somebody. Call out the DSNY, the DOT. Just we have social media that can help you call out everybody you want to call, and they'll see that you're doing it. So now is not the time to settle for less. Now is the time to come out and be a true leader. The people before us, all those great people, did it without social media. Now we have the ability to be out there. So what's the excuse? What is the excuse? If it happened for them, it can happen for us. And I tell people all the time, this is me, 13 years old of being in America. I'm fully living my American dream. In 13 years, I'm inspiring myself, and I'm inspiring my children. I'm inspiring my students at USS. I'm everywhere I go. Every morning I wake up, I just want to inspire one person, even if it's just one person, just to be inspired by my journey, my movies, my life coaching, my motivational speeches. I just want to inspire one person, and if I do that, I'm great. My journey is completed, so.
Inspired. I'm like, not because, no, really, you, I definitely, when you were saying, I want to inspire the, like, it's not just like the students and University Student Senate. I feel it too. Yeah. So you, especially like in 2020, you talked about challenge the process. I think that's very important for a lot of things that are happening right now.
Yes, ma'am.
And the first thing you said about finding your purpose, I can relate. It wasn't something that I found right away.
Wow.
So I wanted to ask, for people who might hear you say that and go, okay, but how do I do that? What are some words of wisdom or motivation that you can give to people that they are that person that they're just going about their day and they feel like they don't have their purpose and they're really not sure how to find it?
I like that. So the short story about that is me working in a 99-cent store as a security guard and asking my manager, I always my manager with a camera filming the things that we're doing. And I asked him, can I use that camera, please? I've never used one. Can I take it and just go and do a video? He gave me the camera for a weekend. I fell in love with it, but I didn't fall in love with it that weekend. That camera just revived the inner filmmaker that I've been living in me since I was a child. Because when I brought him back the camera on Monday, he watched footage I'd done in the weekend. He was shocked. He was like, who did this? I was like, me. He's like, wow, this is awesome. So sometimes you're acting in your calling without even knowing it. How do you find your calling? What is that thing that gives you the bubbles, that gives you the butterflies when you're doing it? What's that thing that when you're doing it, you don't want to stop doing it, right? When I'm speaking, I'm doing my live coaching, when I'm filming, I'm not hungry. I can't stop doing it. I just love doing it. What's that thing that drives you? There's something that drives you. You know, for people that struggle with finding their calling, I bet you know that there's that one thing that when you do, you feel so fulfilled. You want to keep doing it, but you don't know what it is because you're like, wow, I could do this for the rest of my life for free. You know, I could do this for the rest of my life for free. But guess what? Now you monetize it. You go to school and get a degree for it. You know, some people do study nursing and you see them and you know, this is a nurse. This is her calling. She loves it. She's so caring. She takes care of you and everything. That's her calling. A lawyer, that's his calling, right? A doctor, that's his calling. That's her calling. But you see another doctor that's so miserable, he just wants to go home. You're like, bro, you're not operating in your calling, right? This is not your calling. Find your true calling, you know? And so finding your calling, I would say, is discerning what is that thing that you do that makes you feel fulfilled and make you feel good about yourself.
And it might not be a doctor or a lawyer or, you know, one of those. I think what society puts as this, like, this successful high,
No,
it might not be that.
no,
And
that was
that's
just
okay.
that was just a wide example. It could be everything. It could be. I went with friends who went out, and I met the young bartender, and I was appreciating her for her services and telling her how great she was. And guess what? She was a Broadway dancer. Yeah. And I told her, I said, when I saw you, I knew you were something bigger than what I was thinking. I said, I saw class in you. I saw the way you were serving with so much joy and enjoying what you were doing. I knew you were doing something. And she said, yeah. She said, thank you. She kept saying, thank you. I'm like, no, thank you. You know, because the society gives us that model of who we should be to be successful, but that's not it. So when I give this example, it's just a simple example because I've been served by a nurse that didn't like her nursing before. That didn't like what she was doing. And she told me at the end, because I'm very interactive. So I spoke to her. She said, trust me, I'm doing this because it pays me $30 an hour and it gives food to my children. But I don't like it. You know, and I told her, I said, Mom, you're doing yourself a disservice. I said, can you please find your true calling and do what you love? You know, so you're right. It's not just about those big professions, but everything that you're doing. Your calling could be, I have a mentee that's a barber. He just opened his first barber shop during the quarantine. I met him a year ago and I told him, I see your Instagram and I know you're going to own a lot of barbershops out here. And he thought I was joking. I said, that's your calling. I said, your calling is to be an entrepreneur, to cut people's hair because you're doing it to the best of your ability. Guess what? He just sent me a picture of his first barbershop just last month. So you're calling, you may think is you have to go to school and get those degrees. I have nothing against that because I did it. But guess what? Sometimes your calling is braiding hair, and before you know, you're a mogul because you have a whole series of hair braiding salons all over the place. You know, more cutting grass. Before you know, Steve Harvey was saying his childhood friend had a business where he was cutting grass in Ohio, and they were making fun of it because he was cutting it $10, $5. He will cut your grass and everything. Now he does $6 million a year just cutting grass. $6 million a year cutting grass. He owns the biggest company in Ohio that does lawns and clean people's snows and everything. So you just have to find what you're good at, find what makes you feel good, and that's where you're going to really evolve in.
Yeah, and I think a point too that you made was, you know, the nurse that was making money to provide for the children. You know, sometimes you have things like that it's like you have to take care of certain things.
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you find your purpose, but then also take care of the things that you need to take care of? You know,
That's an awesome question. sometimes you have to do what you have to do to get where you need to get to, but you don't need to settle. Most people settle. All right. Again, bringing it back to my very good friend, the bartender that was a Broadway singer. She had to bartend in the daytime to go and work on Broadway, do what she loves in Broadway at night. So the bartending helped her pay her bills and everything. So the moment you find that true calling, if you're an artist, if you're a painter, if you're a stylist, you're a designer, do the thing that you can do to help you, forward your calling. But don't settle, don't hold back, don't tell yourself, oh, you know what, this is comfortable. Because what kills the calling and most people talent and their gift is comfortability. Most people are comfortable in their discomfort. Most people are comfortable in their discomfort, and they spend time and say and give you all excuses, because most people out there have problems for all solutions. So you bring them the solution, they'll be like, no, I think this is bad, I can't do this. Why can't you do it? Why are you settling? Why are you settling? Don't settle. The moment you find that calling, anything you can do to be the best at what you're doing, do it. Do not let the society, judge you and make you feel like you're not in the right thing. I drove Uber. I was a gas station attendant. I was a bathroom attendant in the club. I was a 99 cents security guard. That's why I got the camera for the first time. So, but all those things is my story. Now you can't stop me, right? That's my story. My story designed me to be the greatest success that I am right now. So tomorrow when I win the Oscar, nobody will know. Most people will not know where I came from. They'll just see the tip of the iceberg, right? They will not see that biggest part under that was struggle, working hard, believing in myself, creating all this greatness that you're seeing right now. So it's important that people start understanding that the society is not going to define who you are. You are going to define who you want to be. You have to define who you want to be.
Yes, say it. So another thing that I know about you and I can tell is that you are a people person. Like, you do talk to people. You said I talked to the bartender, I talked to the nurse. So we do want to take some time to focus on an organization that you wanted to bring some more attention to.
The Bronx Rising Initiative is an initiative that was created by a good friend of mine, Thomas Ramos. I met Thomas Ramos 2 years ago at a political meeting in the Bronx. He was running for Congress in the District 15, and we just clicked. And I helped in his campaign. I helped manage his campaign, and then he lost the race. But what happened during the campaign, the COVID hit. We paused the campaign, and we created the Bronx Rising Initiative. We gave $1 million to St. Barnabas. We gave $1 million to a lot of hospitals in the Bronx to create ICU bed capacity. And then now we went to phase 2 after the big wave. When the small businesses that were hit, we gave $10,000 to a lot of businesses. And if you go into the website of Bronx Rising Initiative, you will see all the checks that we've given to businesses out here, small businesses in the Bronx that were looted during the rioting. We helped them, open back their doors and everything. So the Bronx Rising Initiative I'm so honored to be part of this initiative, because I've seen the way we've put smile on the people's faces. Just type on Google Bronx Rising Initiative or Thomas Ramos, Twitter, Bronx Rising Initiative, Instagram, BX Rising. You will see all the great work that we're doing. And trust me, all we're asking, Thomas is a great guy, found the donors, find the people to give us the fund so that we can give it back to, I call him the the Dominican Republic savior, because he's from DR, he's from Dominican Republic, and he act like he's ready to save the world. He's so passionate about giving. And that's when you're passionate, you always meet passionate people on your way, and you guys will do the work together. So he's more or less a brother. We're like family now, and we're always out there doing something. And Bronx Rising Initiative I just wanted to shout out that work that he's doing, because he's a very humble person. Doesn't like to speak about himself, but I like to speak about him because he's doing great, and at the end of the day, that's what leadership is about. You have to be able to elevate people that are doing a good job and remind them that they're doing great.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing information about that. We'll definitely make sure that people know to go to, well, you said the website and also the social media to learn more about the organization and the great things that are happening. I also want to thank you for being here and, you know, just, yeah, just sharing, you know, sharing your experiences, your accomplishments, your challenges, you know, some wisdom, and just, you know, a little bit about your story so that, you know, more people could hear about it. And, you know, it was good to connect with you because it's been a little while.
You're awesome. You're awesome. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for everything that you're doing, you know, giving this platform to people that have been through the journey to share, because sometimes we think the success is just the multimillionaire, the big, as I said, the lawyer, the doctors. No, success is, if it happened to me, it can happen to you, you know. So my young students, look at my journey and tell yourself, wow, Cyrille moved here, undocumented. Now he finds his way. Trust me, I don't have to lose hope. You know, and Christina, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. You didn't wait to be perfect to make it happen. You started doing it because you wanted to, and I appreciate you for that. I truly, truly appreciate you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, we were talking about how step by step, like we were talking about the technical, especially with you, with your background, it's like, I have my light, I'm getting the microphone, I had to get the camera. So
I need the background.
You know,
I look like I'm in Africa.
Yeah. So thank you. So I want to thank everybody for taking time to watch this, and you know, make sure that you challenge the process in whatever way that means for you. You know, like we said, especially in 2020. And I look forward to the next interview, and I hope that you'll be there. So everyone, I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.